یہ ہمارا جو پروگرام ہے یہ IBA آن لائن انٹرپرینیورشپ پروگرام. So in this program we have around like 250 participants from all over Pakistan as well as few international participants as well. Or the main purpose of this program is to impart the education of entrepreneurship to our participants and students. اور ان کو ہم یہ جو ہمارا انڈیجینئس انٹرپرینوریل مائنڈ سیٹ ہے, انٹرپرینورشپ ماڈل ہے, جب میمن چنیوٹی دورج جو پاکستانی بزنس کمیونٹیز ہیں وہ کس طرح سے کام کرتے ہیں, وہ کم سے کم ریسورسز کے ساتھ, وہ اس چیز کا ویٹ نہیں کرتے کہ بہت ساری ریسورسز, بہت سارے پیسے ہوں, اس کے بغیر وہ کام کر لیتے ہیں. کم سے کم ریسورسز میں اپنے اسکل سیٹ کو دیکھتے ہوئے, اپنے پیشن کو دیکھتے ہوئے, اور رسپیکٹ, ہیوملٹی اور یہ سارے جو فیکٹرز ہیں ایک اچھے انٹرپرنور میں, تو اس کو دیکھتے ہوئے ہم اس کورس میں یہی ری انفورس کرتے ہیں کہ سب سے پہلے اپنے پیشن کو دیکھیں, اپنے آپ کیا جانتے ہیں, اسکل سیٹ کیا, اسی جو اویلیبل ریسورسز ہیں اسی سے آپ کام اسٹارٹ کر دیں. اور اپنے ایریا میں, اپنے ریلیٹیوز میں, اپنے دوست میں, اپنے فیملی میں آپ دیکھیں آس پاس بہت ساری اپرچونیٹیز موجود ہیں, ان ریسورسز کو آپ دیکھ کر اسٹارٹ کریں. تو اس کورس کا یہ مین پرپز ہے. تو الحمدللہ یہ IBA میں پہلے ہم یہ کرواتے تھے, اس کے بعد ابھی سیکنڈ بیچ ہے جو آن لائن ہے, اس سے پہلے ایک آن لائن بیچ ہو چکا ہے, اس میں ورلڈ وائڈ تقریباً 4000 پارٹیسپینٹس تھے. اور یہ ہمارا مین یہ جو پروگرام ہے اس میں انٹرنیشنل پارٹیسپینٹس بھی ہیں, بٹ مینلی اس میں نیشنل پارٹیسپینٹس ہیں. اینڈ وی ہیو پارٹیسپینٹس فرام آل اوور پاکستان. یو نیم ڈسٹرکٹ اینڈ وی ہیو دا پارٹیسپینٹ فرام دیٹ. اور بلوچستان سے بھی الحمدللہ وی ہیو لائک 65 پارٹیسپینٹس فرام آل اوور بلوچستان. خزدار سے ہیں اور پشتون بیلٹ سے ہیں, اور اس طرح سے تربت سے, گوادر سے. تو الحمدللہ دس از ویری نائس پروگرام.
ویری گڈ جی, زبردست.
ہمارے سر نے جوائن کیا؟
نہیں ابھی تک نہیں آئے سر.
اچھا سر نہیں آئے, بس آپ نے دیکھنا ہے, مجھے بتا دینا ہے. عبداللہ صاحب آ گئے؟
وہ مشکل ہی لگے گا ان کا آنا, نیٹ پرابلم.
ٹھیک ہے. تسکین صاحبہ, عبداللہ صاحب جب آتے ہیں تو مجھے آپ نے بتا دینا.
تسکین صاحبہ کا بھی میرے خیال سے بہت ہی مشکل ہو سر.
اچھا سر, اس میں آپ کو اور بھی بتاتا چلوں کہ IBCD میں ڈاکٹر صاحب اس میں ہمارے جو پروگرامز ہیں اس میں کافی ایک وائڈ ویرائٹی ہے. اس میں انٹرنیشنل انٹرپرینورشپ سمر اسکول رائٹ ناؤ وی آر کنڈکٹنگ دیٹ, اس کا 5th ایڈیشن چل رہا ہے. 2016 میں وہ اسٹارٹ ہوا تھا. تو رائٹ ناؤ وی ہیو اراؤنڈ, اس کورس میں انٹرنیشنل پارٹیسپینٹس بھی بہت سارے ہیں, 71 اسٹوڈنٹس ہیں, اور میجورٹی جو ہے اس میں انٹرنیشنل پارٹیسپینٹس ہیں. اور IBA کے جو ہمارے BBA جو ریگولر اسٹوڈنٹس ہیں وہ بھی اس کا پارٹ ہے. تو وہ انٹرنیشنل انٹرپرینورشپ سمر اسکول ہم کرتے ہیں, اس میں انٹرنیشنل فیکلٹی, انٹرنیشنل اسٹوڈنٹس ہوتے ہیں. تو اس کے ساتھ ساتھ آن گوئنگ اس وقت کرنٹلی وہ چل رہا ہے وہ پروگرام. اس کے ساتھ کڈز انٹرپرینورشپ پروگرام ہے جو ہم کڈز کے لیے کرتے ہیں, مدرز انٹرپرینورشپ پروگرام ہے جو مدرز کے لیے کرتے ہیں, سمر انٹرپرینورشپ کیمپ ہے جو ٹینز کے لیے کرتے ہیں. اس طرح سے ایک ٹیکنالوجی انٹرپرینورشپ پروگرام ہے جو ہم IBA میں کنڈکٹ کرتے ہیں. انجینئرنگ یونیورسٹیز ہیں, سائنس ٹیکنالوجی کے اسٹوڈنٹس ہیں, اس میں تقریباً کراچی کی جتنی یونیورسٹیز ہیں جو انجینئرنگ, سائنس اور ٹیکنالوجی اس کے اسٹوڈنٹس ہوتے ہیں. اس طرح ہمارا انکیوبیشن پروگرام بھی ہے جو ہم IBCD میں ہی رن کرتے ہیں. 70+ اس میں اسٹارٹ اپس ہیں جن کو ہم انکیوبیٹ کرتے ہیں, سپورٹ کرتے ہیں مینٹرنگ میں, نیٹ ورکنگ میں, اور اس طرح سے. تو یہ الحمدللہ ایک, اور اس کے علاوہ ریسرچ ایکٹیویٹیز بھی ہیں. وی ہیو اراؤنڈ لائک 50+ کیس اسٹڈیز ہیں جو ہم انڈیجینئس ہیں, جو ہمارے پروگرام سے جو اسٹوڈنٹس آگے آئے ان کی کیس اسٹڈیز ہیں. تو ریسرچ ورک بھی ہے, بہت سارے پیپرز ہیں جو ڈاکٹر شاہد قریشی صاحب پبلش کر چکے ہیں. اور تو الحمدللہ یہ 360 ڈگری انٹرپرینوریل مائنڈ سیٹ اور انٹرپرینوریل ایریا کے اندر کام ہو رہا ہے. یعنی اکیڈیمکس بھی ہیں, انکیوبیشن بھی ہے, اینڈ دین ریسرچ ایز ویل. اور فورتھ اس کے ساتھ ساتھ اس میں آؤٹ ریچ ایکٹیویٹیز بھی ہیں. وی کنڈکٹ کانفرنسز اور سیمینارز اور گیسٹ اسپیکر سیشنز اور اس طرح کی جو, تو یہ 4 ڈومینس کے اندر جو ہے انٹرپرینورشپ ایریا میں کام ہو رہا ہے الحمدللہ.
نہیں بہت اچھا. یہ تو مجھے جان کے بڑی خوشی ہوئی کہ اس لیول پہ کام چل رہا ہے پاکستان میں. اور الحمدللہ مطلب یہاں پہ جب میں گیا تھا 12 سال پہلے تو سسٹم اور انوائرمنٹ کچھ اور تھا. اب الحمدللہ بہت زیادہ آگے چلا گیا ہے. میں بڑا خوش ہوں کہ ٹیکنالوجی کافی آپ کی پھیل چکی اور لوگ آن لائن شاپنگ اور آن لائن بزنسز کی طرف چل پڑے ہیں. تو دس از ٹریمنڈس. یہ آئی ایم ویری ہیپی ٹو سی آل دس ہیپننگ ان پاکستان. تو آئی نیور تھاٹ کہ یہ اتنا آگے اتنا جلدی پہنچے گا. الحمدللہ فرام دی ایفرٹس بینگ میڈ بائی انسٹیٹیوشنز لائک IBA جو کہ ہمارا ایک بڑا ہی پریسٹیجیس انسٹیٹیوشن ہے. تو یہ تو بہت زبردست آپ لوگوں نے انیشیٹو لیا. آئی ایم ویری ہیپی ٹو سی آل دس ہیپننگ ان پاکستان. اینڈ انشاءاللہ کوشش میری ہے کہ میں بھی ان سب میں جہاں تک کنٹریبیوٹ کر سکوں تو I'll inshallah be playing my part as well.
Grateful sir. اور سر last one important thing, we conducted this entrepreneurial mindset program in Balochistan University as well last year. اس میں ہم 2 months کے لیے وہیں پر تھے, اور آئی ایم ایس ڈپارٹمنٹ جو ہے انسٹیٹیوٹ آف مینجمنٹ سائنسز وہیں پر ڈاکٹر نعیم ہوتے تھے, اور ان کے ساتھ مل کے پھر آپ کے تو وائس چانسلر صاحب کی بھی ہمیں سپورٹ تھی. تو ہم نے یہ 50 اسٹوڈنٹس میل اور 50 فیمیل اسٹوڈنٹس جو ہے پورے بلوچستان سے 100 اسٹوڈنٹس کو, یو این ڈی پی کی فنڈنگ تھی, آئی بی اے کے اس میں ایکیڈیمک اور ساری چیزیں ہماری تھیں, اور اس کے بعد وینیو پارٹنر جو تھے ہمارے بلوچستان یونیورسٹی تھے, تو وہ بھی ہم نے الحمدللہ وہاں پر کیے, اور اس کے علاوہ فیکلٹی ڈیولپمنٹ ورک شاپ بھی کی تھی ڈاکٹر شاہد قریشی صاحب نے. سو وہ بھی ایک بلوچستان یونیورسٹی سے بھی الحمدللہ ہم وہاں پر کر چکے ہیں. اور ہمارے ایک
جان کے اور خوشی ہو رہی ہے. تو آئی ایم ایس کیونکہ میرا خود کا ڈپارٹمنٹ ہے,
بالکل,
اور I'd like to welcome you again. اگر آپ کا دوبارہ پلان بنتا ہے, we'd love to host you.
انشاءاللہ سر. عمار سر نے جوائن کیا ڈاکٹر شاہد صاحب نے؟
میرے خیال سے ابھی تک نہیں سر.
نہیں سر, ابھی تک نہیں کیا سر نے جوائن.
تو پھر کیا کیا جائے, سر سے اسٹارٹ کروا دیں یا ویٹ کریں؟
سر ویٹ, میرے خیال سے سر آتے ہوں گے انشاءاللہ, ہم سے اسٹارٹ کرواتے ہیں کیونکہ ٹائم اوپر ہو گیا. تو
ہاں, تو
پارٹیسپینٹ سب کے آگے جتنے آپ نے کہا تھا.
جی ماشاءاللہ.
جی سر, پارٹیسپینٹس الحمدللہ بھی وی ہیو رائٹ.
السلام علیکم جناب ڈاکٹر صاحب.
کمنگ سر.
سر آ گئے, سر آ گئے ہیں ڈاکٹر صاحب.
I'm Dr. Shahid Qureshi sir.
ڈاکٹر سعود تاجر سر, pleasure meeting you.
جی سر بالکل, ہم آپ کو دیکھ چکے ہیں سر. میں ذرا ویلکم. تو جناب ماشاءاللہ جی, ویلکم ٹو دی. علامہ اقبال کی نظم ہے ایک بلوچ کے نام. تو وہ ہم جب when we did a workshop in کوئٹہ, تو ہم نے وہ نظم پڑھی تھی. تو اس نظم کے اندر علامہ اقبال انٹرپرینوریل مائنڈ سیٹ کو ہائی لائٹ کرتے ہیں, بلوچ نوجوان سے ادھار لے کر مستعار لیتے ہیں, اور وہ کہتے ہیں کہ وہ جنگلوں میں اور جانوروں اور پہاڑوں کے درمیان, ظاہر مجھے نظم تلاش کرنی پڑے گی, مجھے یاد نہیں ہے. تو وہ کہتے ہیں کہ وہ جو خودی تھی نا, اس کی خودی مینس کہ اس کا اعتماد اپنے اوپر اور اپنے اللہ پر ٹرسٹ اور توکل, اور جو اللہ نے جو نعمتیں بکھیری ہوئی ہیں دنیا میں, جنگل, پہاڑ, اونٹ اور تازہ ہوا, یہی اس کی آزادی ہے, یہی اس کی کریٹیوٹی ہے, اور اسی کی بنیاد بنا کر یہ ایک شاندار زندگی گزارتا ہے. تو جناب ڈاکٹر صاحب, ہمارا یہ آئی بی اے سینٹر فار انٹرپرینیورل ڈیولپمنٹ اس بات پہ کوشاں ہے کہ پورے پاکستان میں ان نوجوانوں کو کے اندر یہ اس بات کو تڑپ پیدا کی جائے کہ اپنی دنیا آپ پیدا کر اگر زندوں میں ہے. اور ڈگریوں کا زمانہ اور یونیورسٹیز کا زمانہ بھی ڈاکٹر صاحب معذرت کے ساتھ یہ خطرے میں پڑ گیا اس وقت دنیا میں. اور ٹریڈیشنل ڈگریوں والے ہیں, امپیکٹ فیکٹر پیپر والے ہیں, there is going to be a question mark. It has started all over. Anybody who believes in numbers and grades and A grades, his time is getting over. تو ہم یہ کہتے ہیں کہ بھئی یہ نمبر بھی لے لو, ڈگریاں بھی لے لو یار, ساتھ ساتھ اسکل, کمپیٹنسیز, جوش, جنون, خدمت بھی ساتھ دے لو یار, تاکہ سیف پلے کرو. تو اسی لیے ہم یہ کورس چل رہا ہے الحمدللہ, اور اللہ کے فضل سے we have national people coming all over. فیکلٹی بھی پوری دنیا سے آ جاتی ہے, اور آپ کو بھی ہم نے تکلیف دی ہے, اور ہم یہ سمجھتے ہیں کہ بلوچستان یونیورسٹی has a very important role to play, اور پورے صوبے کے اندر ایک انقلاب پیدا کیا جا سکتا ہے. تو جناب ہم thankful to you. I think I will end my speech, introductory welcome, and we're looking forward کہ اللہ تعالیٰ آپ کو ذریعہ بنا دے, اور آپ کی یونیورسٹی کو ذریعہ بنا دے سر, اور اس کو ذریعہ بنا دے نوجوانوں کو. اقبال کہتے ہیں نا, اپنی دنیا آپ پیدا کر اگر زندوں میں ہے, اگر تو زندہ ہے نا اپنی دنیا خود بنا. تاج بھائی, یعنی کین یو امیجن اس وقت جو میرے پاس آئی بی ایس سینٹر میں جو لوگ آئے, جو سیکنڈ ڈویژن میٹرک تھے, جو فیل تھے, وہ 5-6 مہینے گزارے, اس کے بعد کام شروع کیا, اور 1 سال کے بعد وہ آئی بی اے کے بچوں کو ہائر کرنے کی پوزیشن میں آ گئے ہیں, این ای ڈی کے بچوں کو ہائر کرنے کی پوزیشن میں آ گئے ہیں. تو یہ we have to come out of that corporate slavery. The universities are producing corporate slaves. ہمیں وہ مائنڈ سیٹ کے لوگ پیدا کرنے ہیں جو ان کو ہائر کریں گے بی اے ایم کامس کو. تو یہ کوشش ہے سر اس کی. تو ہم آپ شکر گزار ہیں آپ کے کہ اللہ تعالیٰ نے اس جوانی میں آپ کو اتنا علم اور ایکسپوجر دیا. تو ہم بڑی خوشی ہوگی کہ ہم ساتھ اکٹھے آگے بھی کام کریں انشاءاللہ. Over to you sir.
डॉक्टर साहब, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर हैविंग मी ओवर. मुझे बड़ी खुशी हो रही है इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे आने की. और अभी कुछ देर पहले मैं तला साहब से बात यही कर रहा था कि मुझे I've come back to Pakistan after almost 12 years. And it's I'm very happy to see the changes that has taken place already in terms of the advancement in technology and the way people are using technology and the entrepreneurial mindset, which was not very common when I left Pakistan. Us time people were mostly after government jobs. People were mostly after planning to do their studies and higher education in order to join a company as an employee. People hardly used to think about becoming entrepreneurs or starting up their own businesses and startups. So it's it's a pleasure seeing this happen in Pakistan, and I'm very happy to be able to contribute a little bit, my share of the cake into this scenario and environment. So thank you very much for having me over. I'll just start talking about my background, my personal background and professional background, and particularly entrepreneurial background. I've also taken some risks, and I'd like to share my experiences as well with your audience. And I'd also like to talk about the mistakes I've made and my advice that come out of my mistake for your participants, so that if any young entrepreneurs are there listening to my conversation, I have some useful advice for them as well. And towards the end, I'll be talking about some skills that I've learned are very essential in running a successful business or to become an entrepreneur. So I'll be talking about around these lines in my conversation. First of all, my name is Dr. Saud. I'm the Pro Vice Chancellor of University of Balochistan, Quetta. We are the largest public sector university in the province and the first university to have started operations in the province of Balochistan in 1970. So this is the oldest university I'm associated with, and I take immense pride in the fact that my father, my family members, my uncles, they've all been graduates of this prestigious institution. So I take immense pride in that. And the fact that I've been able to serve this province in this particular capacity makes me even more proud of, and the way if I can contribute to to some extent, that will be my pleasure. So first of all, I'd like to very clearly state that I come from a non-entrepreneurial family. We have a very typical mindset of, again, graduating and looking for government jobs. And after that, or joining a profession that's kind of well established. So taking entrepreneurial risks has not very extensively happened in my family. So again, so I wanted to make that clear, because that kind of supports the my argument of how I ended up coming into business and what I've learned so far. If I was born in an entrepreneurial family, things would have been much different and much easier, I would say. But since I come from non-entrepreneurial background, I think I've had to face a lot of challenges, which I think for your audience would be a good thing to know. Again, following up my family, I started my career in multinationals right after my MBA. And for 2 years or 2.5 years, I worked for Bharat Telecom and Telenor. These were the telecom companies that had come up in 2004, 2005. The telecom industry was booming, and every other chap you would speak to would be thinking of joining a telecom company, since the industry was booming at the time. So I did the same, and I started working for a multinational. I thought that was a dream come true at the time. I'm sure people can associate the feeling of getting their first job offer, and that too from a multinational is a big thing. So I too was very excited, and I had planned that I'll spend the rest of my life working for multinationals, but things did not happen, or they did not carry on the way I had originally planned. I started teaching as a visiting faculty member in the Institute of Management Sciences, which later became my home department in the University of Balochistan, back in 2006. So right after starting working in multinationals, I felt the urge of imparting knowledge and teaching to a classroom. I thought that's a good idea to do in order to build upon my existing knowledge of that I had gained in the MBA. And of course, I never wanted to disassociate myself from academia. So I thought a good idea was to teach somewhere in the evening and then work in the morning in the multinational, and that would be a normal pattern of my life. To my surprise, when I started teaching, the kind of satisfaction I got from this, I did not experience this in working in the multinational. So I thought, why should I not join teaching full time? I did not consult with a lot of people, since I knew that everybody will say, do not make this mistake, or, just continue with your multinational career. I just took a decision and applied for a full-time job at the University of Balochistan. And I was fortunate enough in 2007 to get an opportunity. However, things again, the best part of life is that you don't know what's going to come tomorrow. You plan things your way, and they do not happen exactly what you had been planning. So 2007 was a very important year for me. I got my full-time public sector universities lectureship in that year. And in the very same year, I got the opportunity to go abroad for my MS and PhD degrees. So that was 2007 when I left Pakistan for Scotland. I graduated in 2013 with a PhD degree from the University of Glasgow, and my PhD was on employer branding, strategic decisions, and organizational analysis. All of these terms might sound a bit scary. And at that time, I think back in 2008, were much more scarier. But I thought I'll be doing PhD in something that would be a good contribution later on in Pakistan, because I knew we did not, I thought we were still far behind the developed countries in terms of organizational dynamics and management practices. So I thought I'll be doing my PhD in something that I could take back with me and contribute. So employer branding sounded a scarier field for me, and I thought that would add immense value to the organizations when I later joined them, or when I later consult for them. So I got my degree, fortunately, back in 2013. After that, I continued teaching in the UK for about 4 years, and then went to Canada and spent my last 3.5 years in Canada teaching across a couple of universities there. In 2019, September, I got the opportunity to come back to Pakistan and serve as a Pro-Vice Chancellor of this prestigious institution. And I did not think twice to grab the opportunity. Since I thought that my experience and my PhD knowledge will all add immense value, particularly being in this role where I can make things happen at the university level. So 2017 was the year when I kind of but added another way to my journey by starting to think to become an entrepreneur. And something changed this. So, I mean, something was the reason behind this. And I think the life-changing event that happened actually, or the basic idea that flourished, came from the birth of my first child, Sareen. She's my daughter. She's, alhamdulillah, 6 years old now. But her birth kind of brought forth a lot of questions in me. A lot of things that I had never thought about before. I started to think about those things then. Particularly the idea or the notion of giving back to society. I thought that Allah has blessed me with everything I ever wanted. I had a very good job. I got my PhD from abroad. Alhamdulillah, got blessed with a child. I said, what else can I ask for? So I thought that was the time that I should be thinking about giving back to the people or giving back to the society. and my thoughts were shared by my wife, who became my partner in crime, kind of, if you like. So there was a feeling of self-fulfillment. I thought there is nothing more I can ask for, nothing more I wanted to do. So let's do something that contributes to the society that we live in. At the time, we were in Canada, so we wanted to contribute to the Canadian society. I firmly believe, and I think our religion kind of guides us in this path too, that we need to be thinking beyond, think beyond or past yourself, and think about how you can contribute to society, how you can bring about changes that would flourish the society or convert or transform it into a better place for others. And I always used to think about what can I do, or what role can I play personally to contribute to that development. So again, a lot of questions. I think every entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure your audience will be including a lot of young entrepreneurs who would be still thinking about starting up businesses, or early career entrepreneurs who would have gone through the process. So what I went through was not, I would say it's pretty much similar, but I think all us entrepreneurs, we have an urge to do something different or contribute. I think that's why we become entrepreneurs. So my case was pretty much the same. The only difference was that since I come from an academic background, I wanted to create an impact. We're always talking about creating impacts, publishing papers in impact factor journals. Hardly do we think about what impact is. If we think about this one word impact, I think we can definitely change the society and bring about a lot of change that people would have never even imagined. All of us being members of the society can contribute something, and we can make impact in our own very way. So impact is not just publishing things in impact factor journals. It is about bringing real change to the society. So that was my idea of impact, and I thought, let me pursue the ideas this way. Then came the hard part. Once I decided I should, of course, once the decision of starting a business was taken, the next hard bit was how to do it, or how to go about it. It took me about almost 4 months to understand the technology needed for doing the business that I wanted to do. I'll tell a bit later about how I planned the business, but I think what's most important, or a very common question that comes in the mind of all entrepreneurs is how to fund your startup. Same was a question in my mind, and I had no other option, or I'd rather say that I did not make any other efforts but to rush to my bank and ask for a personal loan, which I'm glad I got. So that's how things started to happen for me in that year, back in 2017. Now, I'd like to start with the mistakes I made, because I think this is a very interesting topic and that every entrepreneur wants to know. I think whenever you invite a business speaker, anybody who has run a successful business or anything else that he's been doing successfully, everybody wants to know what are the mistakes he or she made. So I thought I'd rather share my mistakes as well, so that people can learn from it. And take lessons and try not to repeat them, or try not to make them in their journey. The number one mistake I think we all entrepreneurs make, or everybody else makes in life, is communication. The fact that we do not communicate, or we're scared of communicating, is the biggest mistake everybody makes. Almost everybody. I'm not just talking about entrepreneurs, but everybody in general. Since the session is about entrepreneurial, on the entrepreneurial side, so I think the very first mistake I made was I did not communicate with the entrepreneurial community. I did not make any efforts of joining any community, such as you are running a community. So I'm sure the participants in your community are getting a lot of benefits out of it. But I did not do this. I did not contact any incubation centers. I did not go to any entrepreneurial activities happening in my city at the time. I did not communicate with anybody outside my house, just my wife. So the communication was kind of closed communication, and we did not get anything or any input from the outside. Unfortunately, I did not have, again, as I've said, I did not have any family members who were businessmen who I could speak to. I did not have many friends that could give me advice on business. So I rather decided not to pursue this channel and start taking decisions on my own. So that was the number one mistake I made. Second of all, despite being a good planner generally in my life, the planning of resources was not done smartly. I was too excited to be able to get a loan from the bank, and I thought, let's throw all this money in the business and something will come back. Of course, I was wrong. And I spent the entire seed funding money that I got from my bank loan into development of a beautiful software. And I thought I should have the best software in the world, even at the startup stage. So again, I was being very ambitious, which is a mistake every entrepreneur makes. You do not have to have the best product in your first shot. You have to, being a startup, I think one of the liberty you can take is to come up with a pathetic product in the beginning and then build on it later on. Since I had no experience, no support, I made this mistake. I spent the entire money I had on developing the best software out there, which meant that I had no money when I had to start the operations. I literally had to take more loan from friends and family to be able to spend on operations and marketing. The other mistake I made, I don't know if that's pretty common across all entrepreneurs in Pakistan and elsewhere, is convenience hiring. So literally the next person sitting the person sitting right next to me, I said, okay, will you work for me? I started phoning friends and cousins and relatives and anybody I could see on the road. Please join my startup. I'm hiring and I need people. So I focused on getting people in the office, and that was my ultimate focus. I kind of ditched the process of hiring the right kind of people in the beginning. Due to obviously time and funding issues, I thought, okay, let me start with anybody out there and I'll get things fixed once we get going, which did not work that way. The other thing that I thought was a big mistake on my end was the convenience partnership offers. I'm pretty sure this is very common with almost every entrepreneur. Once you have a business, everybody around you wants to join that. And it's okay. Can you please give me a share of your business? Can you please involve me in your business? And all those kind of things. All those requests coming in from people that you know, it's pretty hard to offend them or to say no to them. So I think I went on accepting almost everybody who wanted to be my partner, not realizing that they were not right for the business. And I kind of rushed on growth. I think once the business was up and running, I thought it should grow pretty fast. I think that's a big mistake every entrepreneur makes. We should give it some time. Businesses do take time. It's a very slow process. And everybody who's planning to start on a business should give it a lot of time. Should give it the natural or organic time needed to grow. So I think that is again another mistake that I made. I think I missed out on telling about my business. Let me quickly do that in the next couple of minutes, and then I'll move on to my advice for the entrepreneurs. Back in the time in Canada, there was an issue with delivery. Delivery services was not very common. Online shopping was not very common. So we wanted to play our part in starting a company that would contribute in as many or on as many spectrums as possible. So what we did was we thought we should start off, after, of course, filtering on a lot of business ideas, we started to have a delivery company, and for the reason that it would create opportunities for almost a lot of people, including delivery drivers and the merchants who are selling on the platform. Customers will be getting things delivered to their doorsteps. So it was kind of a consideration on a lot of fronts. So I thought that's a good business to start because that would help us contribute on a lot of fronts. That was the business we started. Again, I'll come back to my slide on the advice for young entrepreneurs. I'm pretty sure the advice I'm going to give today will be some of the common advices you've already been getting from a lot of speakers on the program. But I think these are pretty much the key to success if every entrepreneur follows them. I think, as I've already mentioned, my biggest mistake was lack of communication. So my advice for young entrepreneurs would be to strengthen your communication. Communication does not only mean speaking to people inside the company, but also outside. You have to have a big heart and big long ears to be able to hear everybody out. Talk to them, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to the incubation centers, talk to speakers, talk to as many stakeholders as you can to be able to come up with better solutions to your problems. The other thing I've learned over the years, I think this is a very generic advice from me to anybody who's working anywhere, is to be able to work smart. I think we need to understand the dynamics of our business. It's very important to understand the local market. It's very important to understand how the business works in your particular area. And it's very important to read and study the competitors. I think this will give you a good idea of what are the mistakes that they're making, so you shouldn't be making them. So I think that's very important. Hard work will get you there, but I think smart work will get you there faster. The other thing, or very common mistake, since I'm a professor of human resource management, and this is kind of my subject area as well, I think we need to, or young entrepreneurs should be focusing on building teams rather than accumulating a group of people and getting them to run the show for them. That's not going to happen. That's not going to get you the results you need. You need to build on teams who share the same vision as you. So the entrepreneur who started the business with a vision, his entire team or his entire people running his show should share the vision too. If any one of them does not share the vision, he will be a hindrance to the growth process eventually. Again, another mistake I made was rushing up for growth. I think it's very important for you to become a local champion before you try to go big and move out of your small little market or area. Give your business a lot of time. Try to establish your worth in the area you're working, or in the domain that you're working, and people should know you for delivering good service or good business before you plan to move out and grow. Because what's going to happen eventually, if you grow without integrity, you will struggle, or you will start the entire process of getting customer attention again in the new market. So if you have integrity in your first station or in your original market, you would end up making less efforts in the newer markets because you will already have a business integrity or a business brand that people would know. And I think getting more new customers would be far much easier than if you would have grown without any integrity or without any brand name in the market. So I think become a local champion before you even think of growth. The other thing where I normally observe people doing is they are too scared of competitors. Any new business, any new entrepreneur who has just started, gets this impression that he will not survive in the market because there are already big players available. I think that's not entirely correct. I agree with them that yes, you have established people out there, you have established companies who are doing a better business than you. But I think if you think about, or if you think naturally, they would have started someday. And at that point, they would have been thinking the same about the established competitors then. So do not fall prey to this scare of competitors. Do not be scared of them. Do not compare yourself with them, because they are absolutely doing a different job. They've been in the industry for years. They are established. They have market share. They have brand. There is no way you can compare yourself to them. So I think you have to realize this, that you have to learn from competitors and do not start comparing yourself with them initially. Once you become, you grow to that stage where you are comparable to the competitors, yes, definitely, then you can do anything you want. But at the beginning initial stages, it'd be a bad idea to compare. The biggest thing you can do from competitors, or you should be doing from at the start of your business, is learning from your competitors. I think a lot of people, they kind of shy away from accepting the competitors' position, and they do not, and they kind of take some sort of offense in trying to learn from others. I think that shouldn't be happening. You should respect your competitors and established competitors and always learn from them. Perhaps one of the biggest issues with young entrepreneurs is the mentality issue. I think they're always thinking about what or how they can gain for their business, what they need to take for their business, how they can earn more money for their business, how they can get more resources for their businesses. I think it should be the other way around. We should be talking about giving and not taking. I think the more you give, the more you get. It's a pretty flat principle of Islam as well. And I think if you apply that to your business, you will see tremendous results. You should be thinking about, so the questions that a young entrepreneur should be asking himself is basically, what am I giving to the society? If I'm selling a particular product, what kind of value am I generating? What good am I giving to people out there? Once you start giving goodness, you get everything in return and compensation as well. So I think there should be a focus on giving rather than taking from the market. Once you start giving, you would definitely be getting tremendous results in the form of return or compensation for your business. So I think there's a dire need for the young entrepreneurs to fix their mentality of winning the market, taking all the shares, taking all the funding out there, taking all the customers from the competitors. No, it should be about giving, and the question should be the other way. Another common mistake that I've personally seen or experienced in my 2.5 or 3 years of business is people do not think about partnerships. Entrepreneurs or companies want to do everything all by themselves. So if I'm a restaurant, I want to prepare my own food, I want to deliver it myself, and I want to do everything or take all the responsibility on my shoulders. I think we are all specialized people out there in the market. You should be only focusing on your bit, on what you can do best, and let another strategic partner take care of his specialty. So think about how you can partner with other companies, with other people, with other businesses, and involve them in your business. I think that's also a way of generating goodness again. If you let people, if you let them enter your business and and creating more value out of your business for the society, I think it'll be you'll get a lot of success in the long term. rather than thinking about it in a very selfish way and trying to do everything all by yourself just so that nobody else gets any share. I think that's a wrong attitude that should be fixed. So we should always be thinking about strategic partners and strategic partnerships in the long run, and how we can involve other businesses in our business to strengthen our business and their businesses too. I think we all eventually grow by strengthening each other rather than disabling each other. So I think that's a very common, I think that's an essential mentality all entrepreneurs should be having. One thing that I've pretty much improved upon over the years of my entrepreneurship, I think, is my level of patience. I think you have no choice but to be patient. Entrepreneurship or starting your own businesses, especially if you have no family background, you do not have any experience of doing any business whatsoever, you'll have to be patient. If you're not patient, I think you are in a wrong game. I know it's not easy. It's the most difficult thing. Even Islam teaches us to be patient. And there's a lot of reward for patient people in the hereafter. But again, if only we would learn. So I think we have to be patient. If you're not getting the kind of results you expected, do not rush. Try asking the question from yourself that what went wrong and why. You have to be analytical and be self-criticizing. Do not criticize others for your mistakes. Criticize yourself and try to analyze yourself and your business patiently. And of course, be respectful. Do not lose respect at any stage. Respect your competitors, respect your staff, respect your partners, and respect every player out there in the market. I think the key that would keep you going is self-motivation. You'll have to find ways of self-motivating yourself. You'll have to find ways of how you can keep yourself fresh throughout the journey. It's going to take years by the time you become successful and start getting your results. So you'll have to get in a habit of living a self-motivated life. I don't know if that's through doing some sort of exercises that keeps you motivated, talking to the to right kind of people, getting help from your teachers, whatever it is. Try finding ways of self-motivation. Again, another thing that I would say would be very important, if you want to enjoy your business, or if you want to enjoy your entrepreneurial life, you have to enjoy the short run. You have to enjoy the day you're living in. I do agree you should always be living up in the long run. You should be thinking about tomorrow, or your businesses tomorrow, or how things are going to change in the next 5 to 10 years, or what you would be doing as a business in the next 5 to 10 years. But it's very, very important to enjoy the short run. Enjoy your today. Enjoy the fact that you are small. Enjoy the fact that you have no money. Enjoy the fact that you have a very small customer base. Unless you enjoy your today, you cannot live happily in your tomorrow. Another thing that would help you a lot would be your courage. I think we become entrepreneurs because we have these things inbuilt inside us. So this is no surprise. In my opinion, I think all entrepreneurs are courageous. That's why they took the courage of starting something new that they don't even know is going to survive or not tomorrow. They took bold decisions to start something new. They took bold decisions to change the way of life. They took bold decisions in creating a product or starting a service and throwing it in the market, and then only to know that it was a failure. So I think all entrepreneurs do become entrepreneurs because they have these things inbuilt in them. That is courage. They have the ability to take bold decisions. So I think that's my advice. If you are kind of thinking, if you're kind of lacking in anything, do not be worried. I think you have nothing to lose. a young entrepreneur or a new company has very limited stakes. The worst that can happen to you is that your business would collapse and you would be doing something else tomorrow morning. I think you should be more worried if you're a big business and you're relying on that. And if that business happens to stop, then of course you would find it hard to feed your family even. So I think if you're a small business, if you're a new entrepreneur, do not be scared at all. You have nothing to lose, absolutely. You only have to move forward. There is nothing at the back. So do not even bother turning around. There's absolutely nothing at the back. Just keep going forward. Take decisions. Do not be scared. Be courageous. So these are kind of my advice for young entrepreneurs that I think will help them in establishing great businesses in the future. Towards the last segment of my presentation, I'd like to talk about a few skills that we need as entrepreneurs and businessmen and as people in the society to become successful professionals. Again, being entrepreneurs means that you had something in you, something inside you that kind of pushed you to come forward and start something new, which means you had leadership skills in you. You were leaders from something inside pushed you to do something, which means you have those germs in you. You have the leadership potential inside you. Now, all you've got to do is to realize your potential and polish it. So I'm going to take you through a few skills that I think are very essential for any young entrepreneurs or already established businesses to move forward and grow their businesses. The first and foremost thing is the vision. Of course, you're not a leader if you don't have a vision for your company. You started a new business, you started a small venture out of the fact that you had a vision for it. You had something in your mind, something in your heart that would tell you to start doing something because you knew there was a potential. One thing that you should be focusing on is the aspect of team building. Again, I do not say this because I come from the HR background. I think this is really needed. If you work in groups of people, you will not be able to achieve anything significant in your business. Until and unless you start looking at everybody as part of your team, you build meaningful teams out of the group of people that you have. You inject the team spirit in them. That is when you start getting results in your business. So I think that is very important for any entrepreneur to think about or to consider when you're building up your team of people. You should be forgiving. Since you are the one who took this initiative and showed people the light at the end of the tunnel, since you're the person who is promising the society that you have something meaningful with you that's going to sustain for a longer term, it should be on your part to be able to forgive people for the mistakes they make while you're in the journey or you're trying to build up your business. You should be forgiving your employees for not understanding your concepts. You should be forgiving your people in your business for not able to understanding your ideas exactly the way that you want to portray. You should be forgiving your partners to be understanding your vision in the same way. So there's a lot of forgiveness to be given on the part of the entrepreneur. Again, you're the one who started the business. You're the one who took the initiative. You should be forgiving. And again, with forgiveness, another thing that comes as a package is respect. I think entrepreneurs somehow kind of forget. I think they start expecting respect as opposed to giving respect. You start expecting respect for the things you're doing for the society or for the market or for the industry. I think it doesn't work that way. You should be giving respect to everybody. I think if you give respect, you get respect back. You should be respecting your employees, your customers, anybody in your stakeholder mapping. your seniors, your juniors, your friends, your family, your partners. You have to respect everybody. I think until and unless you respect them, you do not build healthy relationships with them. So I think that's pretty important. Trusting your people is again essential. One thing I find missing in almost a lot of places that I've worked is trusting your people. I think you should give them the due respect of, or the due, the fact that they joined you at a time when your business had nothing promising. I think people trusted you when you told them that you are a new company, you don't have a good salary to pay, you don't have a very fancy office, you don't have no customer base, and people actually trusted you to join your company. And in return, you have to trust them too. It's all about trust. It's all about building the relationship with especially in a startup, what happens is that you have a very limited number of people. So I think that's kind of the ideal honeymoon period when you can really build good relationship with your team and, sow those seeds of trust, which will eventually become bigger when you become a big business. I was the other day looking at Facebook. I think it was Facebook's 15th or 16th year or 16th birthday or something like that. And the owner was also cutting the cake of one of the employees who had been with the company since the beginning. So I was kind of surprised because that is the kind of trust you really put in your people so that you get the results 14 or 15 years later. You'll have to do this as an entrepreneur. If you start doubting your teams, if you doubt the intentions of the people who work with you, if you doubt their abilities, if you doubt their creativity, if you doubt their performances, if you doubt their intentions, I think there's no way you can build you cannot build any good teams, or you cannot create that culture that you need to be able to grow and establish your startup. Patience, again, I've already mentioned, this is very important. You have to be patient as an entrepreneur. There is no way you can run the show without being patient. Be grateful to the people who are with you. Be grateful for everything that you have. And be grateful for the fact that you were able to create an opportunity for others. That's a very big trait of a leader. So a leader has to be grateful about everything he has around him, and an entrepreneur has to do the same. Be grateful since day one. You have to be absolutely enjoying every bit of it, and for the fact that you were able to start something new, I think that's a big ability. So you have all the reasons to be grateful. Have a positive mind. As I've already mentioned, you have nothing to lose. A positive mind is the only survival. It is the only tool that will help you fight the big war that you have embarked upon. So have a positive mind throughout. Make sure you're futuristic as well in your approach, because you're always thinking about your business in the long term. You cannot establish a good plan, you cannot establish a good product or service if you do not think in the long term. I mean, thanks to this, again, it's a blessing in disguise. I'm talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. It has given you the opportunity to think about that events like these can happen too. So if you're not prepared for that, if you're not prepared for any future pandemics, if you're not prepared for anything or any complications in the future, there is no way your business would sustain. So again, you have to have that futuristic mind to be able to create a sustainable business, and make sure that you have a sustainable business or idea or a service. Otherwise, you will be ending up wasting a lot of years in creating something that failed eventually. So that's pretty important. Keep working on your motivation and morale, and also the motivation and morale of your team. Since you are the one who started something, came up with the idea, It's your responsibility now to help others believe in your idea and make others live up to those dreams that you once dreamt alone. So you should be happy about the fact that you have people to share your vision now, and you have to continue building their morale, continue showing them your bright future, continue showing them the prospects of your business so that they are equally enjoying the journey. Be fair to everybody. Make sure you are, again, if you think about what I said earlier in terms of giving rather than taking out of the business, you have to have a very fair attitude with everybody. Particularly what happens in a startup, you are, if you're not fair with your internal teams, with your employees, or with your customers, or with your partners, or anybody else in the stakeholders map, you would end up losing integrity. You would end up losing your brand authenticity. You would end up losing your identity. So I think you have to build upon these things, and small things like fairness or gratefulness or patience, excuse me, would help you build upon that thing. Always have an excellent relationship with your external stakeholders. These are the people who will give you the stamp of an authentic business, if you like. The external stakeholders are the people who will give you the integrity that you need to be able to sail your ship over the long run. Integrity will come from the external people or external parties or external stakeholders. So therefore, maintaining relationship with them is absolutely essential. A few of the management skills you'll be needing. My intention or my idea of discussing this with you all today is I think we all need the right kind of skills to be able to do anything in life. So how can you think about running a business or running a full entire idea, a sustainable project in the long term, if you do not, or if you're not equipped with the right type of skills? So I think you need to work on these fronts to be able to establish yourself as a successful entrepreneur in the long run. In the management skills, I've kind of divided them into different management areas. Since I'm a scholar of management, I tend to, my mind kind of works this way. First of all, I think what's important and what I found really important was, or very fruitful was, the ability to do research. When I knew I had to do a business, I researched what kind of business I wanted to do. Once I knew what kind of business I was doing, I wanted to research on how I will make things happen. Once I started make things happen, I wanted to know how will I get the funding. Once I got the funding, I started researching how would I get the new customer or how would I build upon the idea. So research is always going to help you with everything you do in your business throughout your business's lifetime. You should be able to do good planning. Once you have a good plan, of course, that will help you have good execution. Think of your business as my mind works like that since I'm a researcher by profession. So I do not blame you if anybody sitting in the audience is not a researcher. But I think this has helped me a lot in building my business, and I think this will definitely help you as well. I think about my business as a research project, and I want to make it successful. And I tend to spend hours researching on it in order to convert it into a brilliant research idea or research project. The other thing that will help you, become sustainable in the long run is a critical and an analytical mind. You have to be your own biggest critic. People will always tell you how good your service or product is. Your friends will always be motivating you. Your parents will be always motivating you. Everybody in your circle will be saying you've got a fantastic idea and you're going to be a successful businessman. I think that's a bit being unfair on your part. You have to be your critic. In the early years, I think you should be your enemy. If you're not your enemy, you won't be having friends in the future. I think you have to be really critical about what you're doing. Keep questioning your product. Keep questioning your service. Keep questioning the way you're running the business. Keep questioning the way you're running the teams. Keep questioning your skills. At any stage in your entrepreneurial journey, keep questioning. And that will give you new insights and new ideas and new ways of dealing with things and new avenues and aspects of conducting your project. Finance is a very essential component of any project, and I think financial planning is utmost essential. Think about your finances first. This is the mistake I made. I did not think about my finances first. The moment I got the bank loan, I threw all the money into my business without planning how and when and how much should I invest at each stage. I should have broken down my business into a different I would say time frames or different I should have created a financial timeline of investment. I should have done a lot, but I didn't do anything. I think that was my mistake that I don't want people to be repeating. Spend right. You should have a saving attitude. You really need good financial skills to be able to run a very good business. So I think you have to understand when to spend, on what to spend, how to save, because every penny counts when you are in a business. You cannot be spending wrong and then expecting the business to be bringing you fruitful results. On the HR side, again, I mentioned convenience hiring in the beginning. I think that was a big mistake I've ever made, and I think nobody should be doing that. Always try and recruit the right kind of people that will help you grow your business. If you do not have the right talent, spend time looking for and identifying the right talent. Do not rush. Only the right people will run your business. Remember, not number of people, not the groups of people will run your business. It will be the right type of people who will be running your business. Try and delegate. Being a young entrepreneur, share your authority with people. Let them take decisions too, because you need to build a culture. Remember, as a young entrepreneur, you're not just running a typical business. You're building a culture. In your company, you're building something for the future, and these people who you've hired may end up working with you for years. So you want them to have all the right skills, the creativity. They should be able to make mistakes and learn from them. You don't have to be analytical yourself. You want them to be analytical too. So delegate your powers and let them learn and let them make mistakes. Do not shy away from making mistakes. Because that's you're going to make mistake anyway. Doesn't really matter if you make it or your colleague makes it. It's the same impact on the business. So make sure you share the burden with them. Marketing skills are again very much important. I did not have any money for marketing, and that's why my growth is pretty slow. But I think you should have set aside some budget and funding for your marketing. Try and learn new marketing skills. It's a digital age. There are new techniques and methods of marketing your product. Learn all those new skills and new techniques of promotion. Use competitive marketing strategies. You have to be able to maintain an impression in the market that you are also a front runner. So you have to really compare and compete with your competitors using the same strategies that they're using. So make sure you have a competitive marketing strategy. On the soft skill sides, I think this is no-brainer. Again, these skills will help you again build up on your entrepreneurial skills. Having strong interpersonal communication, this will help you develop a very strong team. Try and learn and be good at conflict management. Being an entrepreneur, you're the head of the institution or the organization. You will have to deal with a lot of conflicts in the beginning. I think startups is all about conflicts and resolving those conflicts. Good startups are the ones who address their conflicts in time and utilize them and channelize them. Bad startups, or the ones who will be eventually failing, would be the ones who would not be responding to their conflicts positively. Anger management is important. I think this is an issue with myself personally as well. Being an entrepreneur, you have to really control your nerves. And kind of pull your strings, to not let yourself go at your team. Self-evaluation and self-disclosure is again important. Again, you have, as I've already mentioned, you have to be analytical and critical of yourself, and keep evaluating yourself at every stage in your business. Diversity is important. Appreciate diversity, respect diversity. Pakistan is a very diverse nation. We have so try and accept everybody, whether they're male or female, from any tribe, from any city, from any province. Just accept them for their skills and for the value that they bring to your business. Do not look upon them as people coming from different groups. And this way you'll be able to develop and establish your cross-cultural competence. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but since I'm kind of running very short of time, so I cannot explain this in detail. But if you're taking good care of diversity, this means you have the cross-cultural competence to be able to run the show. Negotiation is a very key skill you'll be needing to establish your business. You'll have to negotiate at every aspect, at every stage of your business, so make sure you're very good at it. Again, keep yourself motivated, keep your teams motivated, and motivation is really the key that will help you hang out there for a long time. With that, I'd like to end my presentation. I'm very sorry if I've run over time, but I thought these were...
Thank you, Taj Sahab. It was beyond my expectations, mashallah, and it was an academician come entrepreneurial presentation. So there were practical tips, and so we have a lot of people from Peshawar, from Quetta, mashallah, a lot of people from Panchgor, Turbal, Khuzdar. So this course, Atala Sahab, कितने लोग हैं जनाब बलूचिस्तान के, AP के से, जरा बताएं नंबर.
जी सर, 65 जो हैं बलूचिस्तान के, and we have like 23 students from KPK. So total 88 students are from Balochistan and KPK.
आज तकरीबन 70-80 के करीब होंगे, बाकी शहरों से भी हैं, कुछ इंटरनेशनल भी हैं.
जी सर. और
बहुत प्यारी जेनेरिक ट्रिप्स हैं, and I'm really astonished and happy to learn. सऊद साहब के आपने बहुत खूबसूरत तरीके से आर्टिकुलेट कर दिया है. और this is what the course is all about, that we work on effectuation, create a small effect. और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह आपने हमारा कोर्स किया होता तो ये बैंक से आपको निजात मिल जाती, लेकिन बहरहाल ये जिंदगी की चोटें खाकर ही आदमी सीखता है. ये कहानी नहीं बनती, the story would have not been there. So स्टोरी बनाने के लिए अल्लाह ताला ने आपको, तो ये कहानी बन गई माशाल्लाह. जी आमिर रिजवान साहब मुल्तान से. तला साहब, मैं शायद थोड़ी देर नमाज का टाइम हो जाएगा, निकल जाऊंगा, तो आप 2-4 सवाल और ले सकते हैं, ठीक है जी. तो मैं आपको होस्ट ट्रांसफर कर दूंगा. आमिर रिजवान साहब जनाब मुल्तान से.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saud.
Walaikum salam.
I'm really thankful and really glad to have your lecture. It was very wonderful for the young entrepreneurial. So thanks once again. My question is, while you are working in multinational sector, and I'm also a part of multinational sector, there are a lot of opportunity to grow and etc. And lot of traveling and daily basis incentives and many things you can't skip. That time, how you think to change your job from multinational to academic sector? I actually want to know what was the actual things come in your mind to skip multinational sector and come to the academia. Thank you.
Wow, very good.
So thank you for your question. First of all, I think there was the sense of self-fulfillment that I wasn't getting in my multinational job. I think it was too tiring since day one. I just thought that I'm doing something for my own self. So when I started teaching part-time as a visiting lecturer, I realized that I was actually giving something to, or I was creating an impact. I was educating people. I was doing something more meaningful. So I think the switch from a multinational to an academic career was primarily, I think, supported by the notion of imparting education and educating the youth of the country. So I think that was number one. Number two, now again, at the time I was not very happy because of the pay package and the facilities. So I think I started off pretty low. So I realized that my pay package and yet the benefits I'm getting is not actually far much higher than what I'll be getting in academia. So I thought that was a comparable. I think that was a comparable bargain, and the kind of package I was expected to get in academia was pretty much the same as I was getting in the multinational company. So I thought, why not? When I'm getting two benefits out of this one deal, why not to go for it? So I went for that.